Good, y'all. So last night, Turki Alalshikh went on Twitter and took some shots at Devin Haney and Scull. This is what he had to say. From this point on, I don't want to see any more Tom and Jerry type boxing matches where one fighter is running around the ring and the other is chasing him. We can no longer support these kinds of fights with rider season in the ring. We want to support fighters who leave it all in the ring and fight with heart and pride. Now, ironically, Showbiz, who does business with Turki Alalshikh in the ring, Showbiz made a video saying that he was going to try to get, Turki Alalshikh to stop these boxers from running around the ring in the fashion that Devin Haney and Scull did, because he believes that it's bad for boxing. And obviously, Turki Alalshikh agrees with him, right? But in my opinion, this is why Teofimo Lopez called Turki Alalshikh a dictator, because as a person that's putting up the money for these fights, like when you make statements like this, it makes people look at you as not credible. Because at the end of the day, however a fight outcome turns out, it's up to the judges. It's not up to Turki Alalshikh, right? Like Turki Alalshikh, he can't just go to the judges and tell them who he wants to win. No, that's not how it works. Once you hire the judges, based off of the performance in the ring, they dictate who won the fight. And at the end of the day, every boxer has a different style. Not every boxer wants to get hit. Not every boxer wants to take, punishment when they don't have to. Not every boxer is going to come in the ring with a Mexican style and just stand toe-to-toe and slug it out until one person gets knocked out. That's just not boxing, right? You have boxers like, Floyd Mayweather, Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? You have boxers that they prioritize hitting their opponent and not getting hit. And at the end of the day, you have to blame the opponent for not being able to cut the ring off and stop them from moving around. Look at the fight that happened with Gervonta Tank Davis and Frank Martin. Frank Martin was doing a lot of moving around, but at the same time, he was hitting Tank and he wasn't getting hit back until Tank was able to cut the corner off and knock him out. The judges had Frank Martin winning that fight up until that point. A majority of people that was watching the fight had Frank Martin winning that fight against Gervonta Tank Davis before he ended up getting stopped, right? He got backed into the corner and Gervonta Davis knocked him out with a brutal uppercut, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, Turki Alalshikh is making it seem like anybody with that type of style that uses that has good footwork, that knows how to move around the ring, that can hit, not get hit, that's a part of boxing, bro. Like Turki Alalshikh making a statement like this is a dictator type statement. So shouts out to Teofimo Lopez for calling this out. I wish he would have never apologized, because it's clear as day that Turki Alalshikh is a dictator. And he's obviously taking shots at Devin Haney and Scull. Let's get into that, right? So we had the card with Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza, and Devin Haney versus Jose Pedraza. Teofimo Lopez obviously had the best performance on that card. He did a great job beating Arnold Barboza. He took him to school, man. Just put on a world-class boxing performance. He even did the Ali Shuffle. Shout out to Teofimo Lopez on this performance. But I don't think he's talking about Ryan, because even though Rolly Romero dropped Ryan Garcia, I don't think Ryan Garcia was running. I just think Ryan Garcia was not throwing enough punches. So he's obviously talking about Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. And listen, we got to cut Devin Haney some slack. First of all, he was out the ring for over a year. And the last time that we seen him in the ring, he took a fight with Ryan where Ryan came in overweight. Devin Haney took the extra money. So we can't blame Ryan coming in overweight. Once you take that extra money and you agree to the fight, you can no longer use that as an excuse. But what we can use as an excuse is Ryan Garcia testing positive for PEDs, Ostarine, and Devin Haney got dropped 4 or 5 times in that fight, took a tremendous amount of damage, and his jawline was swollen. Like, he looked like Theodore from Alvin and the Chipmunks after the fight, right? He took a lot of left hooks in that fight, man. And that takes a toll on the fighter. Even though Devin Haney is still young, even though he's only 26, 27 years old, you don't know how a fighter is going to react after taking that much damage. You know, look at Amir Khan. After niggas found out that Amir Khan had a glass chin, he got dropped or knocked out almost every fight after that. You know? So obviously Devin Haney had some ring rust. Obviously Devin Haney and Bill Haney and his training team, they came up with a plan to pretty much not take any damage in that fight because they don't know if Devin Haney's chin is going to be the same. You don't know. And on top of that, you got to look at it like this. Remember, if Ryan Garcia was to beat Rolly Romero, Devin Haney obviously beat Jose Ramirez, we were supposed to get the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia rematch. So I think another reason why Devin Haney was doing all that running around the ring is because he wanted to make sure that he got the win so he can get his rematch with Ryan Garcia. And I also just think that, you know, he just didn't want to take any unnecessary damage before getting in there with Ryan because, you know, he know that left hook was coming from Ryan if Ryan would have beat Rolly, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, remember, Devin and Ryan, if that rematch would have happened, they were supposed to get paid $30 million each. So Devin Haney was just doing everything in his power to just get the easy win. And listen, I'm a Devin Haney fan, and I'm going to tell you guys this. I think that his performance against Jose Ramirez was the worst performance of his professional boxing career. I didn't like that fight at all, right? Like, I didn't like the fact that, because when you look at Jose Ramirez, right? Jose Ramirez is a shell of himself. He lost to Arnold Barboza, right? He lost to Josh Taylor. And now you have a loss with Devin Haney. And I just don't understand why Devin Haney, like, number one, Devin Haney has one of the best jabs in the sport of boxing, and he didn't use his jab. You look at Devin Haney's fights with George Kambosos, you know, the 2 fights he had over there in Australia, he beat George Kambosos with a jab. 24 rounds straight. I don't think George Kambosos even won 1 round against Devin Haney. Devin Haney just whooped his ass with a jab. You know what I'm saying? And Devin Haney was not using his jab against Jose Ramirez. You know, he was just moving around the ring, running around the ring. He was jumping into the ropes the same way Shakur Stevenson did against Edwin De Los Santos. And I just didn't understand what the fuck Devin Haney was doing. Obviously, it looks like Devin Haney had some anxiety, definitely some PTSD from those left hooks that he got from Ryan. And I think that Devin Haney, I think that he doesn't know how he's going to react if he gets hit with a shot square on the chin. And I think that's why he was prioritizing just not getting hit at all. But I mean, if Devin Haney is going to fight like this the rest of his career ain't going to last long, bro, because nobody's going to pay money to see that bullshit. And I can't blame Turki Alalshikh for saying what he said, but at the same time, bro, like, you don't make statements like this on Twitter and you pretty much tell boxers, oh, if you're going to fight that style, you know, then I can't work with you. That's some dictatorship, bro. You know, that's some dictatorship in my opinion. Like, at the end of the day, bro, like, as a boxer, if you believe that you're really that good and you're in the ring with somebody that's running like Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson, you should be able to cut the ring off and stop them from doing it. You know, that's just my personal opinion. Like I said, man, if Devin Haney looks the same way in his next fight, then, you know, I just won't watch his fights anymore. But I just think that it's fucked up that Turki Alalshikh would say that on Twitter, because you basically dissing Devin Haney and William Scull. These are guys that you just did business with. You know, Turki Alalshikh could have made a personal phone call to Devin Haney and William Scull and told him how he felt. You know, why would he go on Twitter and make a statement like this? You know? So, I mean, guys, don't be surprised if we don't see Devin Haney on any more Turki Alalshikh cards. You know, don't be surprised if we know for a fact we're never going to see William Scull on a Turki Alalshikh card again, because William Scull's performance was even worse. He was even worse than Devin Haney, bro. You know what I'm saying? William Scull, he looked like he was just in there for a paycheck, bro. I don't know what the fuck William Scull was doing. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think William Scull landed more punches on Canelo than Canelo landed on William Scull. And I don't understand how Canelo won that fight by unanimous decision. I think that the judges rigged the fight because they didn't like William Scull's style. And most importantly, this is boxing. They didn't want to ruin this huge super fight between Canelo and Terrence Crawford. That's what we saw with the Devin Haney and Ryan thing. I don't think Turki Alalshikh, wanted that to happen again. And I definitely think that the judges got it wrong on that fight, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on this, man. Very, very stupid statement by Turki Alalshikh. I do understand what he's saying. But at the end of the day, bro, this is boxing, bro. Everybody's not going to have a Mexican style where they stand in the middle of the ring and slug it out. This is boxing. There's always going to be a fighter that's walking forward. There's always going to be a fighter that's walking backwards. And if a fighter has good footwork, if they're able to hit and not get hit and utilize the ring, that's a part of the sport. And if you have a problem with that, then maybe you shouldn't watch boxing. Let me know what you guys think, man. It's your boy Wavy. Subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment.